easy to see. But then again, you may be able to see it, but do you have like, are you in the mindset to immediately be like, oh, that's a 5C, react, block high, instead of being like, oh, I may have an opportunity to throw in an attack right here or something like that. It really depends. It really is the fight of who is in what kind of headspace.
So up next we've got Jojo versus Atlas. Both their characters, Jojo keeping the Yukiko in jail, Atlas keeping Yang in jail. This is a matchup that I haven't seen in a while, not since the old place, I believe.
Yeah, Atlas hasn't shown up since we moved. I think in the second week we've been at this new place.
Can't escape from crossing fate. Fight.
Well, let's see. So Alice is playing a lot of online, but online doesn't prepare you for JoJo. JoJo's rhythm is such a very interesting thing to say the least. So let's see if Alice is able to catch onto it quickly enough in order to get something going for himself. And he's definitely getting something going for himself. A lot of damage on the Hakumen already, but a lot of damage on the user as well. Bad DPs. Yeah, so much damage.
Just, yeah, Vatista has always surprised me with how versatile she is in close range. Because she has a lot of fast moves that come out real quick, and they all of them do like a decent amount of damage. They keep you in there, and then she also has lasers.
He also doesn't have the most health in the world, so these scramble situations, all these scramble situations is really favoring JoJo. Well, his characters also take a beating. At least one of them can just get that health back. Yikes.
Yeah, big yikes, that 5C hanging out. No matter what you say, if you have both characters and you land a 5C and one doesn't have to be out already, it's a solid 4K. And given that characters at most have 18, that's a lot. That's a good chunk of damage, no matter how you cook with it.
The 5C DP classic. Atlas not playing enough online to have seen either of those scenarios coming up. We have mid-set coaching. Oh, that's probably the mid-set insult. So again, like Atlas is a good player. One of the best around this part, right? But Joey's also really a lot of the players here are really good, and Joey's rhythm, as said, is something so peculiar that if you're trying to play no hesitation online style versus him, you'll probably get beat just because he'll be able to understand those scenarios faster than even you can realize them. Alice this game is got an early lead, got the early hits, and is starting to play back a little bit more, let the sword do its thing. 5.3 for a really long range conversion. And not so bad, not bad.
Yeah, you use your Vatista, not necessarily the hardest hitting characters ever, but they will definitely hit you from all the way across the screen if they can.
Jeez. He bursts into the... Oh, it's his hitbox now.
Ooh, got that DP counter. And DP's the overhead. Honestly, that's a really solid answer to the overhead. You see it coming out to throw out your DP.
If you don't want to deal with whatever EX mix-up they can do afterwards, that's definitely something you could do. Just take the damage, you know?
Look at that.
And the DPs. I was really running away with this one. Just not letting Joey get his stuff started. Just if he's in the air, I'll DP you, unlike that last time. But he's starting to not leave himself as open. He's not letting Joey get the openings that he needs in order to get Carmine like that like this. Okay, can't count out Joey yet. Can't count out Carmine yet. Probably can't after this. Game 2 in Atlas's favor.
I always forget that 2 words, 1 blade is a very has a very big hitbox.
Yeah,
like it comes off as kind of like it hits right in front of you. No, it's a big swipe down. It's kind of like Gordo's turbulence hitbox. Relatively, I always put things into terms of Yuji Gordo.
He's gotta be what he's gotta be sometimes. But you know, so I was saying that second game, and dude, great burst punishment. Outside of some of these wackier burst punishes at the beginning with like jump cancels and jumping into the burst specifically, I haven't seen many traditional just, you know, call the assist after you burst tonight, and it's good to see that Atlas is still on the up and up for that. Lo and behold, man. Well, we've slowed down both players trying to see what they need to do, trying to play some footsies.
Carmine hurting himself like always.
Oh, the sword is long.
Sword's long and also blocks the road, but that DP is a little too early.
Happened before he hit the ground, unfortunately. Oh, Atlas hasn't been around. He might not know. He might not have been here for the science. He'll have to get this Hakumen out before science can destroy him. Try to press a button between all the slashes, not in his favor. Really trying to DP that. To no avail. Second round in
or 2-1 in
Atlas's favor.
Atlas figured that Atlas has found what he needs to do to fight Jojo, and he is working it. And a lot of it just means playing back like he normally does. I mean, Jojo has his Carmine and he has his Hakumen, but if Atlas is able to take control of the control game much easier and much faster with a user and a Vatista backing that user up.
It's definitely one of the things that are usually brought up whenever we talk about if this is Atlas's team. Because while his Yang was really good, pretty cool, right? She needed to be more in and more in and more in than Yuzu has to be. And Yuzu allows Atlas to play this farther back in, this more mid-ranger game that has been the better part of his gameplay, and even when he was playing Yang. Footsies. Both players
DP in the air.
Both these players are kind of playing back. Joey's in phase 2, as I'd say. But Atlas, unlike other folk around here, it's not that he's now starting to turtle up. That's just how he plays. So if you're trying to turtle v turtle Atlas, you'll probably find yourself on the losing end because he's just really used to it. He knows how he needs to do this, as opposed to it just being an unnecessary thing once things aren't quite going the way that he'd want it to be.
Ooh, 1 health. The Carmine lives on 1 health.
Good block. Joey laughing it off. He's like, man.
Good try on that. Honestly, that was a solid try. Who's definitely on one hand, mind games was like, oh, I can go and throw out the buzzsaw or something. But no, I'm just gonna try to trap you. But it's not that isn't something that you should do in every match. But if at one point that could have definitely won him the game.
Yep.
Maybe out of a best of 10, but not a best of 5. Because things like that, it's all about conditioning your opponent, throwing out stuff to be like, hey, this is how I normally do things, this is how this happens. But then you can just throw that random, hey, this is just the most random super that can easily be blocked and punished. But if you condition your opponent right, anything is right. Anything